Meanwhile, South Korea is at a standstill as some 550,000 high school
Exam day in South Korea.
55만 명의 수험생의 결전의 날이었던 한국의 수능. 그런데 이 하루가 이제는 한국만의 시험일이 아니라 전 세계가 주목하는 국제적 이슈가 되고 있습니다. 해외 외신들은 매년 수능날이 가까워질 때마다 한국을 찾아와 수능 시험 현장을 집중 보도할 정도죠. 새벽부터 시험장 앞에 모여 아이의 이름을 부르며 기도하는 부모들, 지각 위기의 학생을 경찰이 오토바이로 긴급 호송하는 장면, 듣기평가 시간에 맞춰 전국의 항공기 이착륙까지 제한하는 초집중 국가 모드까지 외신들이 보기엔 한국 수능날의 풍경은 거의 영화나 드라마에 가까운 풍경이라고 하는데요. 그렇다면 왜 한국의 수능은 해외 언론의 스포트라이트를 받게 된 걸까요? 많은 분들이 짐작하시다시피 한국 수능이 해외 외신의 스포트라이트를 받는 이유가 모두 긍정적인 것만 아닙니다. 특히 우리와 비슷하게 극단적인 교육 경쟁을 겪고 있는 나라 인도에서도 한국의 수능 풍경은 매년 큰 관심사로 떠오르고 있는데요. 지금부터 인도 방송국에서 보도한 특집 방송 영상을 통해 해외 시선에 대해 전해드리겠습니다.
It was an unusual Thursday in South Korea. Flights were halted, trains and cars slowed down, trading was delayed by 1 hour. Businesses opened late, the army stopped its exercises and the residents gathered on the streets. Do you know why? Because it was exam day in South Korea, the day of the Sunung. This is South Korea's annual college entrance exam. It may sound like a simple affair, but mind you, nothing about it is ordinary. Over 500,000 people sit for this exam every year. For them, it is do or die. At least in the rat race of education, this exam is considered life-defining. It defines which colleges you go to, what jobs you get, how your career takes shape, and even who you marry.
Well, this exam has been a goal to achieve for nearly 20 years of my daughter's life, and it can be another beginning of her life too. She's studied so much and gone through a lot to get here. I hope she can show everything she's worked for today and get great results.
The exam itself is 9 hours long. It includes questions on maths, history, science, Korean language and English. 9 hours. These questions are prepared for days. A team of professors and high school teachers write them. They come from across the country. These teachers first meet up in a secret location. It's mostly a sparsely populated region of South Korea. They must first surrender their cell phones. Basically, they must be cut off from the world, and then the prep work begins. So a 9-hour-long exam, multiple topics, hundreds of questions, and the whole of South Korea, the entire country coming to a standstill. Imagine the pressure on students. The South Korean education system is already very competitive, both inside and outside school. In 2022, South Koreans spent $20 billion on private education. This is just on tuition and not school fee, $20 billion. And it's just to get a good score in this exam. This would be overwhelming for anyone, so imagine the pressure on teenagers. The fallout is evident and often ugly, especially in teenage depression and suicide rates. They're among the worst in the world. In 2021, South Korea recorded a suicide rate of 26 per 100,000, 26 suicides per 1 lakh people. It's among the highest in the world. Suicide was also one of the main causes of death between those aged 10 and 39. The reason behind this was mental illness. Many blame South Korea's cutthroat competitive education system for this. Here, you either make it or you don't. There's nothing in between. Those who cannot make it often resort to drastic measures. And this culture is not unique to South Korea. Look at China. Every year, millions of Chinese students take the Gaokao. It is called the world's toughest exam, a single test that decides which university you can go to. And in many ways, the life you can lead after that. Families move cities for it. They spend millions on tuition. Some students study for 12, even 14 hours a day. For many, it's not just an exam, it is a national obsession. And here at home in India, we are no strangers to this kind of pressure. Every summer, entire neighborhoods hold their breath for board results. Relatives turn into examiners. Mark sheets become the status symbol. And then come the competitive exams, JEE, NEET, UPSC, CAT, CLAT. Each one of these is a battlefield of its own. Students move to coaching hubs like Kota, billboards show the faces of toppers, families believe a single rank can change their fortune, and failure feels like the end of the world. As of May 2025, at least 14 students' suicides were reported in Kota. But it shouldn't be that way. Yes, exams are important. They open doors, they build character, they reward hard work, but they should never define who you are. Because a score cannot measure potential, a degree cannot capture dreams. A failure in one test is not failure in life. India has produced scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, many of whom were never toppers in school. Some even failed their exams, but they found success in their own way. There's more to life than ranks and report cards. There's creativity, courage, character, things that no exam can ever grade. So to every student out there, study hard, give it your best, but do remember your worth is not written in your mark sheet. It is written in who you become after that. Because the real test is life itself.
Meanwhile, South Korea is at a standstill as some 550,000 high school students take their SATs. The country delayed the opening of the stock market, delayed flights, even closed shops to reduce noise. The test can determine where students go to college, their job prospects, income, where they'll live, even future relationships. Foreign correspondent Britt Clennett has the details from Hong Kong. Hi, Britt. What's the latest here?
Hey, Diane. Yeah, a lot riding on those exams. It's close to midnight in South Korea, but those students did take the toughest marathon session exam of their lives today. The annual Suneung saw aeroplanes coming to a halt at some stage. Police were on standby to escort students to the annual college entrance exam. We know in the United States and in other places, there's a lot of pressure on kids to get into good universities, but you could argue that this is on a scale that you don't see in anywhere else in the world. There were 550,000 students taking part. That's the highest number in 7 years, and for most, it is still a marathon 8-hour-long test, but for those with extra needs or disabilities, it can go up to 13 hours. We're talking stock markets, which are typically open from 9 a.m. till about 3:30 p.m. They even opened an hour later to ease morning rush hour traffic, and they even closed an hour later too. A total of 140 flights, including 75 international services. They were rescheduled about over an hour, so to avoid distractions. So this is taken extremely seriously in South Korea, Diane.
오늘 전해드린 이야기도 흥미로우셨다면 좋아요와 구독 부탁드립니다. 여러분의 관심과 응원이 저희 채널을 움직이는 가장 큰 힘이 됩니다. 앞으로도 위대한 언니 채널과 함께해 주세요. 감사합니다.